What if we told you that India's quiet diplomacy has reshaped global politics, without firing a single bullet? Welcome to our channel. We bring you powerful stories from around the world that reveal the hidden impact of India on global affairs. From strategic deals with superpowers to turning neighbors into allies, Indian diplomacy has quietly but powerfully changed the global game. Today, we're counting down the top 10 countries where Indian diplomacy didn't just make a difference, it changed everything. So stay with us as we reveal how India's smart strategies transformed conflicts into partnerships and created long-lasting global influence. 10. Iran. India's diplomacy with Iran has been strategic and cautious. Despite Western sanctions and U.S. pressure, India maintained a working relationship with Tehran. A key achievement was the development of the Chabahar port, allowing India access to Afghanistan and Central Asia, bypassing Pakistan. This port is a cornerstone of India's regional connectivity strategy. India also ensured energy cooperation with Iran while balancing its growing ties with the West. Even during times of U.S.-Iran tensions, India acted as a bridge, managing to keep diplomatic and economic channels open. This balancing act shows India's ability to serve its national interests while engaging with conflicting powers, proving the strength of Indian diplomacy in a highly volatile region. 9. United States. India's relationship with the U.S. underwent a historic transformation, thanks to diplomatic efforts spanning decades. The turning point was the India-US Civil Nuclear Agreement, 2008, which ended India's nuclear isolation. Indian diplomats skillfully lobbied U.S. lawmakers, think tanks, and the Indian-American community to gain bipartisan support. Since then, defense, trade, technology, and strategic cooperation have grown rapidly. India is now a key partner in the Quad Alliance, countering China's influence in the Indo-Pacific. Defense deals, joint military exercises, and tech partnerships are now routine. Indian diplomacy successfully shifted the narrative, from skepticism and sanctions to strategic trust, making the U.S. one of India's closest global partners today. 8. Russia. India and Russia share a legacy of friendship, and Indian diplomacy has ensured this continues despite global shifts. During the Ukraine conflict, India maintained neutrality while urging peaceful resolution. India continued defense purchases, oil imports, and space cooperation, avoiding Western pressure. The S-400 missile deal was one such example where India prioritized national interest through careful diplomacy. India's stance at the UN, abstaining from anti-Russia votes, was viewed positively by Moscow. Despite strengthening ties with the U.S., India ensured Russia remained a key strategic partner. Indian diplomacy preserved this balance, showing how India can maintain relations with rival powers without compromising its own position. 7. Bangladesh. Relations with Bangladesh were once tense, but Indian diplomacy has drastically improved ties. The historic Land Boundary Agreement, 2015, settled border disputes involving over 160 enclaves, something unresolved for decades. India supported Bangladesh with infrastructure, energy supply, and water-sharing dialogue. Prime Minister Modi's visits and cultural diplomacy further strengthened trust. Bangladesh has reciprocated by supporting India on regional platforms like SARC. The two nations now collaborate on rail and road links, power trade, and defense talks. Indian diplomacy transformed a historically sensitive relationship into a strategic South Asian partnership. This success is seen as a model for resolving bilateral issues through dialogue and mutual respect. 6. Japan. Indian diplomacy with Japan has elevated their relationship to a special strategic global partnership. Japan is now a top investor in India, funding mega projects like the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train. India's participation in the Quad grouping and shared values like democracy and free trade have deepened ties. India has backed Japan's leadership in Asia and global platforms. Japan, in return, supports India's infrastructure, skill development, and clean energy programs. Diplomatic visits, people-to-people exchanges, and cultural cooperation are increasing. India's consistent and forward-looking diplomacy turned Japan from a quiet partner into one of its strongest allies in Asia and the Indo-Pacific. 5. Maldives. India's timely diplomatic actions in the Maldives have secured its strategic interests in the Indian Ocean. From Operation Cactus, 1988, that rescued the Maldivian government from a coup, to modern-day infrastructure support, India has remained a dependable partner. When China expanded influence in the Maldives, India responded with the Neighborhood First policy, offering financial aid, COVID support, and the Greater Mail Connectivity Project. These actions strengthened people's trust and countered anti-India narratives. India's low-key, consistent diplomacy ensured that the Maldives remained within its sphere of influence, preserving maritime security and regional dominance. Indian diplomacy once again proved its strategic foresight. 4. Nepal. India's relationship with Nepal has seen highs and lows, but diplomacy has helped navigate through challenges. Shared borders, religious ties, and open migration make Nepal crucial. Despite past tensions, like the 2015 blockade and growing Chinese influence, India re-engaged with strategic aid, development projects, and diplomatic visits. India supported road construction, electricity grids, and health services in remote Nepali regions. The Ramayana circuit, cross-border railways, and educational scholarships also improved people-to-people connections. Though Nepal occasionally tilts toward China, Indian diplomacy is slowly rebuilding trust by respecting sovereignty and emphasizing cultural unity. Patience and long-term engagement remain the cornerstone of India's Nepal policy. 3. Australia. India transformed its relationship with Australia through active diplomacy. Earlier marked by indifference, ties have strengthened through shared Indo-Pacific concerns. India brought Australia into military exercises like Malabar and enhanced cooperation under the Quad Alliance. The India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, ECTA, boosted trade, and education ties were deepened by the large Indian student population. Indian diplomacy also worked with Australian leadership to counter China's aggressive behavior in the region. Cultural diplomacy through cricket and diaspora engagement further helped. Today, Australia sees India as a vital partner for regional stability, all thanks to consistent diplomatic engagement and mutual trust building. 2. UAE. India's diplomacy with the UAE has transformed a traditional labor-exporting relationship into a multidimensional partnership. The signing of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA, in 2022 boosted trade, investment, and services. India played a major role in the UAE-India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor plan, strengthening logistics and connectivity. The UAE also extended financial aid and supported India's inclusion in OIC talks. Awarding PM Modi the Zayed Medal, the UAE acknowledged India's regional role. Indian diplomacy maintained this strong bond by respecting Islamic sentiments while promoting modern cooperation in defense, fintech, and energy, making the UAE a trusted ally in the Gulf. 1. Bhutan. India's diplomatic relationship with Bhutan is a textbook example of mutual trust. India has long supported Bhutan's economy, education, and infrastructure through grants, hydroelectric projects, and trade. Bhutan, in return, stands firmly with India on regional issues. The Doklam standoff, 2017, with China saw Bhutan standing by India's side, despite pressure. Indian diplomacy ensured Bhutan's independence while protecting shared security interests. Cultural diplomacy, youth programs, and people-to-people contact have further cemented this relationship. India has made sure that Bhutan never falls into China's sphere of influence, proving how respectful, long-term diplomacy can preserve both friendship and strategic interests in a tough region. That wraps up our list of the top 10 countries where Indian diplomacy changed everything. India has proven that smart negotiations, strong relationships, and peaceful strategies can leave a powerful global impact. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. And let us know in the comments, which country's transformation impressed you the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.